Looks like he's playing better offensively than he was for a while.
You know, played good in the second half against Coastal, and when we had to storm back, he then has back spasms, and then SEMO doesn't play. We go to Dayton, and he was really the only guy that gave us consistency offensively. We were really sporadic, but he was steady for us. Kept us around. We got a chance to steal it at the end. And then tonight, I thought as we were making that push, he was the guy that was being the player that we needed to be.
What's different about him? You mentioned back spasms.
Yeah, you know, his body's beat up a little bit, but everybody in college basketball at this point is. My hope is that he's getting back into a rhythm, and he understands. I mean, we certainly talked about it enough. He certainly understands the importance that he brings to this team.
Where is this team, I guess, in terms of your expectations for it now going into SEC play?
There's been a lot of things, in the non-conference that I was not expecting. You know, some of the inconsistencies, and to be honest with you, it just may have been, a false impression on myself initially, because I felt like the continuity would be a little better, but simply because we had more experience. But the reality is we're still integrating new guys into the way we do things. It took us a while to figure out who's best with whom, and we've been inefficient offensively at times with turnovers. I thought that was the key early in the game. It's what cost us the Dayton game. It's what cost us a number of the games early is live ball turnovers. We had 4 turnovers at the first media. We end up with 11. We have 23 assists off 34 made field goals, which show we were sharing the ball. This team needs to share the ball. We got to help each other get shots. We've always had a guy, Marshall, Murph, whoever, that we could throw it to and they can manufacture a little bit, obviously in vastly different ways. But this group's got to help each other get shots.
Have you figured out who can play with it?
Pardon me?
Have you figured out who can play with it?
Yeah, I've got a better understanding from a rotation standpoint. Everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, and I've got to make sure that I've got guys that can cover one another when they're out there.
Who else has kind of taken another step, kind of like along with Hugh's question, who else has kind of developed enough to where you feel strong about them even coming off of that?
We're going to continue to play 9, 10 guys. I thought Rod Lawrence gave us good minutes today, 14 minutes. Just brought us some energy, which he's been doing in practice. He's got the ability to make a shot. And, the other guys, we're going to play a 4-man post rotation for the most part, and we're playing 4 or 5 different guards. Obviously, we need Jarvis, we need Snoop, we need Moody to be consistent. Terrence, I think, since SEMO has really settled in, and it just goes back to shot making. He was really, really struggling with his shot making. The last 3 games, he settled in where I think he can really help us.
What you've seen of Kentucky, what does any team have to do to have a chance against them late?
The biggest thing is you're going to have to make jump shots, which is not easy to do in any venue, much less rough. But you're going to have to make jump shots because of their length and their ability to alter everything in the paint. You're going to have to man up and make some jump shots. And then defensively, you've got to do an incredible job off your defensive glass. It's one way this team has improved. We've improved on our rebounding margins a little bit. Guys are pursuing the ball more consistently. If you allow them to live off their offensive glass, you have no chance. And then if you can't make shots because things at the rim are few and far between.
Is it better to play this Kentucky game out of the gate, or does that matter?
I'm just excited that it's SEC season. Obviously, the stakes get raised, and when you get a chance to play the #1 team in the country and in the best venue in all of college basketball, is the reason that you do this. And so I think our guys will be excited about the opportunity.
Andy, do you try to pull their bigs away from the basket? And, do you feel like you guys can do that?
I think they're going to do that on their own. They switch most all ball screens, and they're so versatile, really, 1 through 5, because, with the exception of Euless, the guys that play are all in that 6'5", 6'6" range, and then they've got, 6'11", 7-footers up front. So they switch a lot. They're very interchangeable. We've got to be able to create some separation by helping one another. It can't be, I'm going to go make a play. We've got to help one another, try to get some dribble penetration, penetrate pitch, and then ultimately, if we make some jump shots, we can make it interesting. If you don't make jump shots, it's going to be a long night.
How do you think your guys will handle going into that environment?
I'm anxious to see. Again, Snoop's been in there, Jarvis has been in there, AJ's been in there. I can't remember, did we go in there last year? It all runs together to me, but did we? Yeah, so most of all our guys, Moody will be excited, but he's excited anyway. MJ, Terrence, those guys, I hope it brings some excitement to them. I think that once they walk into that environment, we'll figure out real quickly whether or not they can handle it.
What do you think is